Today we got 5 Wonderkid forwards with world-class potential, but there's one caveat. They're all fickle. Will they get to the promised land of their potential, or will they just be fickle and rubbish? I guess. This intro petered out. Let's get into it. Here we go then. We got 5 different nations as well. We've got Carlos Fernandez. There you go. They're all exactly the same in terms of their current ability as well. They've all got exactly the same attribute breakdown. So there he is, Carlos Fernandez. And that is their personality type. This is the SAS24 skin with the hidden attribute thing. If you've got the in-game editor installed and enabled, you can just click this here, and the in-game editor is needed to see these attributes, of course, and that is a fickle personality. So it's not terrible, is it? Not terrible at all. Mid-range for some of the things, but we will see. We will see how these players get on. There's Carlos Fernandez, of course, mid-journeyed their faces once again to add a little bit more realism to proceedings. We've got Marcel Dubois, the Frenchman. We've got Luca Nucci. I mean, I've just left these names in. These are just regen names that Football Manager threw up. Andreas Heinrich and Stephen Cooper. So, we've got fickle personalities, we've got 5 forwards, 100 current ability, 190 potential ability, and we're going to jump through to see how they get on in their careers. The first stop on our journey is 1 year into the future to see where these guys have gone. Well, the German's gone. The fickle German has ficked off, I guess. That's ficked with an I. No need for censoring that. So we're looking at current abilities then. So, Luca Nucci. So Stephen Cooper is currently at Everton at 112. He's made it to. Marcel Dubois has gone to Cremonense. Carlos Fernandez is at Eibar, and Luca Nucci has gone to Parma. 112 to 107. Not a lot has happened in that first season, to be honest, but I'll be honest with you. Wasn't expecting much either. As you can see, they're all worth very little, except Stephen Cooper, who's at Everton, and of course, being English and at an English club, he's got that English premium. They've all been retrained as attacking midfield rights. What? How random is that? How absolutely insanely random is that they've all been retrained as attacking midfield right? I'm baffled. I'm baffled as to why. But there you go. That's what's happened. It would be interesting to see where they actually play when they do play. But nothing's happened in that first season. Should we have a look at the in terms of appearances? Then Carlos Fernandez has actually played 28 times for Eibar. He's been a first team regular. He was at CD Vitoria. What? Not too sure about that. Anyway, Stephen Cooper's never played a game. Well, it says all-time career apps 1. He came off the bench in the Cup and got a 6.5. Not very good, is it? Marcel Dubois at Cremonense. 1 game from the bench in Serie B. And Carlos Fernandez at Eibar. And Luca Nucci at Parma. They've even come off the bench. There you go then. So not a lot happened in this first season. But I expect things to happen as we move through. But before we do move through, quick public service announcement. Please subscribe. That's it. Let's go. 3 more years. Well, we've still got all 4 of them, which is good. And we've had transfers. We have had transfers. So Luca Nucci is still at Parma and still bottom of the table. He's moved to 125 in terms of his current ability. However, he's changed his personality to fairly determined. And that's because, has he dropped his ambition? His ambition's dropped below the threshold, and his loyalty, I think. So he's no longer fickle. I think fickle has to be over 4 loyalty and 16 ambition. I think. Do not quote me on that. He's worth £40 million. 20 to 61 million, it says. Well, yeah, £40 million-ish. Marcel Dubois is at Liverpool, a perfectionist personality. He moved for 8.75 million from Cremonense. He's been capped 4 times by the French under-21 national team, and he's only just moved to Liverpool for £3.3 million, rising to 8.75, should I say, but it is 3.3 up front. Stephen Cooper is still at Everton, and not a lot has happened with old Stevie Cooper. He has played 18 games last season, 3 goals. 15 of those were from the bench. He got 1 start the season before that with 7 from the bench, and yeah, didn't score in the league. So he's only got 3 Premier League goals to his name. And as you can see, Marcel Dubois and Carlos Fernandez have also been trained as right midfielders. Carlos Fernandez has gone to Chelsea. He's still fickle. He's 134 out of 190, and he's wanted by Ipswich on loan. He moved to Chelsea for £6 million from Eibar and went straight on loan to Bristol City. For 40 games he played for Bristol City. And I say he went straight on loan to Bristol City. He actually spent the entire season at Chelsea. Did he move in January? I'd say he moved in January if he got 10 appearances off the bench for Eibar. Moved in January for £6 million, rising to 9. Went to Bristol City on loan for the season where he got 12 goals in 40 appearances in League One. So we're not doing fantastically well yet, but we've got a bit of personality change, which is interesting in my opinion. And of course, we have still lost the German. But as you can see, I'd say fairly determined is not actually a bad personality trait. Yet he is now the bottom. He's still the bottom, Luca Nucci. Whereas you've got a perfectionist one at the top. There's not a lot in it though, 3 attribute points. You improve one, like speed, like acceleration or pace, and that's probably going to almost take it there. Not a lot in it. Not a lot in it at all. We have had a bit of movement, and I think there might be movement again. If they're not playing for Chelsea and Liverpool, they'll want to go. Their personality dictates that, so it could be interesting. We will move on, and we're going to go to 2030 now and see what the status quo is. There has been no transfers whatsoever. However, Luca Nucci at Parma is at 134 out of 190. He's been on loan to Paris FC. Most recently, he's played a bit for Parma in Serie A, only really off the bench. They're not a fan, are they, really, of Luca Nucci? And to be honest, neither am I. He's not worth loads. He's 22 years old. Is he going to make it? I don't think he is. Marcel Dubois, the perfectionist, is actually still at 143. Well, he wasn't at 143, but he's not moved up a lot, has he? Was he like 137? So in 3 years, he's moved up 6 attribute points from the ages of 19 to 22. And that is because he's barely played a game for Liverpool. He's made 2 starts in the league, and the rest have been from the bench, which isn't good enough, which is why he's not improved. Despite having a perfectionist personality, we've got Stephen Cooper, who's at 151 at Everton. Still fickle, but he's definitely played a lot more. And as you can see, I mean, I'm not really impressed with that. 5 goals. He must be playing on the right. We've already ticked over, so we can't see, but he must be playing on the right. He's been capped once by England as well. But there's no, I mean, even on the right, he's not scoring enough for me. This is not good enough. Not good enough at all. But Carlos Fernandez at Chelsea, still loan listed. And Chelsea have had him out on loan loads. Bristol City we saw. Then he went to Leeds for 14 games. Then Nottingham Forest for 39. And he's played 30 games for Chelsea last season. 21 of those being starts. 8 goals. Again, I think he's playing as an attacking midfield on the right. Is he? Turned into quite the player though. 5 goals in 17 caps for Spain. And he's now got a balanced personality. His loyalty's down at 1. His ambitions dropped to 14 as well. What else has changed? Important matches is at 10. Consistency is at 12. I think consistency was at 10 to begin with. Everything else feels about the same. So that's now become balanced. We've gone from fickle to balanced with a drop of a few attribute points, which, you know, is interesting, isn't it? You look at a balanced personality and you think, meh, that's not too bad. Well, actually, this is worse than fickle because he's less loyal and less ambitious. In terms of wages, though, he's on £180,000 a week. How's as much as everyone else on? 88 for Stevie Cooper, Marcel Dubois on 87, and Luca Nucci lucky to be on 21. Surely there's got to be some transfers going on soon. Marcel Dubois and Luca Nucci cannot be happy where they are. They're not really playing. I mean, if he's not really playing in Serie B, where's he going? Eh? I don't know. 2033, that's where we're all going. Tell you that for free. Well, we've actually got a little bit of movement in my life. 175, Carlos Fernandez. He's every bit world class. 124 to 373. Still balanced in terms of personality. And again, his versatility's crept up. Consistency's now up at 16. He has done very well in terms of his growth. He's not scored loads. 10 is his best return most recently. Again, 11 of those are actually still from the bench. He's still being a sub-merchant quite a bit. But he's starting more than he's coming off the bench for. So Chelsea are keeping him around. Poch is still in charge of Chelsea. And Chelsea have actually won the league. Not this season, the season before. Which means Carlos Fernandez is a Premier League champion, ladies and gentlemen. Stephen Cooper is wanted by Tottenham. And he wants to move to a bigger club. 161 out of 190 is old Stevie Cooper. He's still fickle. And there you go. Versatility was always there then, unless his has moved up as well to 16 coincidentally. Consistency is now up at 14, but loyalty and ambition have remained where they are. Luca Nucci at 156. He's catching Stevie Cooper, and that's because he's moved from Parma. But I tell you what, he actually only moved recently. He played a lot for Parma for 2 years, and he's gone to Atletico Pamplona for £3 million. Again, not prolific. Must be playing on the right. No, he's playing as a striker. He got a 6.43 as a striker, scoring 8 goals in 35 games. That's really disappointing, isn't it? Really disappointing. Marcel Dubois, who was at Liverpool, still a perfectionist. He's now the worst out of all 4 of them. 148. That's 27 attribute points behind Carlos Fernandes. If 200 was the potential ability, Carlos Fernandes would be closer to that than he would be to Marcel Dubois. Marcel did manage to get himself that move. He moved to Wolfsburg, and that looks like it went on in the January. He went to Porto on loan, where he did really well, to be fair. 15 in 26, and he got 8 in 18 for Wolfsburg. 13th of the 5th, 2029. So he's actually won the Premier League, the FA Cup, and the Carabao Cup, despite not doing loads for them. Bought by Wolfsburg on the 1st of the 1st, so he actually moved on the 1st of January, making a play for their man early. 3 caps, no goals for France as well, for old Marcel Dubois. And here he is rocking the perfectionist personality. And that looks like we've just... Well, versatility's at 15, loyalty's up at 5. Professionalism's... Is that up? Consistency's up, definitely. And there you go. Well, no one's setting the world on fire, really. Carlos Fernandes has probably been the most successful. But is that just because he's playing for Chelsea and he's holding down a place in the team? Quite possibly. Stevie Cooper is potentially moving on. And, well, he wants to. So that could be something to be looking at in the next time we come back. And that will be, again, we're going to go through another 3 years. We'll go to the 28. They'll be in their peak. This will be all downhill from here. 2036 coming up. Okay, well, Carlos Fernandes was at 182, and I think that's probably where he's going to end his career in terms of his highest ability rating. Getting in the teens every single season for Chelsea. Is he playing up front? Still not able to see because we've already ticked over. Man City have won the league for the last 3 years in a row, so unfortunately, despite the fact that he's playing quite a lot, it's not enough. A 180 striker to propel you to a league title. I suppose when City have probably got Haaland, who's like 188. It's understandable. Steve Cooper went to Spurs, £108 million. Bloody hell. 99 up front, 108 after add-ons. And he's gone to Spurs, and Spurs have played him a hell of a lot and said, well, the first season actually they didn't. He got 11 in 26, but 14 of those games were off the bench. How are Spurs doing? Vincent Kompany's in charge. Second back here, and then just falling outside the European places. So they got second, and then they signed Stephen Cooper for £108 million, and they've now been finishing like 7th and 8th. So that's not great, is it? That's a bit disappointing. Marcel Dubois is at 157, £170,000 a week at Wolfsburg, and they have not won the league. Surprise, surprise. 2 for Dortmund, 1 for Mönchengladbach, and the rest for Bayern. Still a perfectionist personality, and he's overtaken Luca Nucci, who is, again, still fairly determined. He's moved to Manchester United from Bayern Munich. Well, it's all gone on with old Luca Nucci, and I don't know why. He seems to be the hot prospect, the hot property. £3 million Atletico Pamplona paid for him. He had one good season. It wasn't even a good season, was it? It was an abysmal season, a 6.82 in all competitions. 8 goals in 38 games. Started the following season off with all the conviction of a wet fart. 0 goals in 4 games, another 6.82. And Bayern Munich came a-calling. 14 games he played, 13 of them off the bench, getting just the 1 goal in the league, a 6.83. The following season, every single league appearance was from the bench, but he got 5 goals. And after the £26.5 million move and never playing him, Manchester United, having seen this reincarnation of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the super sub, grabbing the goals from the bench, they said, yes, please, £50 million. 49.5. But £50 million. It's the most Manchester United signing of all time, isn't it? And he's played 6 times from the start and 22 times from the bench. By the time we come back, I bet he's not at United, and the United have made a huge loss on him. There's my prediction, and I'm not going to the end. It'll be another 3 years. That's where we're going. Okay, so they're all declining. 176 for Carlos Fernandes, still at Chelsea. We'll have a little look on him. He has 20 goals for the last 2 seasons in the league. Surely we've not ticked over. We have. Of course we have. 49 goals in 105 caps for Spain as well. That's very, very good. Despite having one loyalty, he's been at Chelsea for God knows how many years. 10 years. 10 years. This is his 10th year at Chelsea. Sorry, no, all those were loan moves. He moved in 25, 26. Nearly 15 years he's been at Chelsea. Yeah, one loyalty. 1 out of 20. Stephen Cooper wants to leave for continental football. You've got to say, you're probably part of the reason they've not got it, Steve, because you've been brought in to score the goals. 13 is his most prolific, 16 is his most prolific return. 13 there in 35 starts. And then the following season, they literally played him as a sub-merchant every single game. 21 appearances, 20 off the bench, just the 4 goals. Very disappointing. And where did Tottenham finish? Probably not too bad. Vincent Kompany's still in the job. 9th. 8th, 9th. Last 3 seasons. Pitiful. Absolutely pitiful. Marcel Dubois still at Wolfsburg, and he is doing very, very well for himself. He's got 89 in 200 games for Wolfsburg. Yeah, 218. And overall, that makes it 117 goals and 325 appearances. I'm just blocking it. Take my word for it. Consistent in the Bundesliga as well. Lowest of 13, highest of 17. Also seasons of... Very consistent, in the last 4 years. 9 and 8 is not great, is it? Although that one you can excuse because... he actually played only 9 starts. He actually only started 9 times, 9 of them off the bench. So scoring 8 is pretty good. This season's a problem. But every other season, he's actually had a reasonably decent return. Nearly a goal every other game. You could do with doing a few more assists, but 10 player of the matches this season in the 34 games. 10 of them. He was man of the match, Marcel Dubois. And Luke Canucci is still at Manchester United. AC Milan, Roma and Udinese all want him at the end of his contract. He is leaving on a free, it appears. No plans for the future. But he's got no plans for the future. But the media opinion is he needs to play more regular club football. He's an elite striker, apparently. And he's not playing for United. This is exactly what I knew would happen. And I said in 3 years' time we'll come back and he won't be there and they'll have made a massive loss. He hasn't left, but he's about to leave on a free at the end of his contract. So yeah, by the time we come back, he won't be still at United. Almost certainly won't still be at United. I'll be honest with you. How old are they all now? 31. Okay, another 3 years to 2042 then, and that might be the second to last stop, almost certainly. Okay, so Carlos Fernandes went to Al Ahly and he went for £38 million. Chelsea made £29 million profit and had a player for a long time in their club. At 31 and 34, and then 18 and 34 for Al Ahly. His contract's expiring now. I think he will retire there. I don't think he's coming back. We shall see. Still a balanced personality of 1 loyalty, 19 versatility, 19 consistency. So he's really improved some areas of his game. Loyalty is not one of them. Marcel Dubois is wanted by Saudi Arabia at this tender age of 34, and it looks like he probably will go there. Wolfsburg will probably accept anything in the region of £7 or £8 million for him, and I don't know if I'd blame them. At this age, I mean, he's not doing as well as he once was. 3 in 33, and 32 of those were starts. He has got 8 assists, though, and that season there, he got 11 goals. Is he playing off the right? We don't know. We do not know. 2 Bundesligas. Oh, and one of them was in 2040. He's taken them to a Bundesliga title. They've only gone and won it. Fair play to him. Marcel Dubois is a Bundesliga champion. Go on, son. Steve Cooper for AC Milan. He moved from Tottenham for free. £108 million. Never really set the world alight for Tottenham, and now he's gone to AC Milan for free, where, again, he's not setting the world alight. He's actually never made a start. 24 appearances for them, all of them from the bench. Luke Canucci, the final one we're looking in on, and he's really dropped off the face of the earth. Down at 118, he's fallen away drastically. He's wanted by Altai at the end of contract, and he wants to leave for continental football. Isn't that a story of his life? So he went to Toulouse, He was wanted by some bigger teams than Toulouse. Unfortunately, Toulouse are the only one that have come in for him. And yeah, they're nowhere to be seen in the French league, but neither is Luca Nucci in terms of his ability. What was it? 120? 118. If you look at that in order, it's 22 away from Steve Cooper. Unbelievable. Unbelievable stuff. Still the only Fickle one as well, transfer value of nothing. His contract's up in 2 days' time. Where's he going to go? That's the question. We're going to have to go through seasonally now to see what happens. So 2043, here we come. Who have we lost? We've got English, we've got French, we've got Italian. So we've lost Spanish, we've lost Fernandez, who I said will probably just retire from coming back from Saudi Arabia, and he has. Stephen Cooper has gone to Al Hilal on £38,500 a week. Got to say, disappointing. Gone there on a free. 17 and 34 for him there. 20 and 66 for England, so there's that. Marcel Dubois, also wanted by Saudi Arabian clubs at Wolfsburg. 35 years young. 16 appearances off the bench in the most recent season. Mönchengladbach were the league winners. Luca Nucci went to Galatasaray, he's now at 107, and he's awful, isn't he? Awful player. 20 games, 4 goals. All of those were starts, to be fair, but the league's not loaded, so very difficult to sort of assess. Quickly jump through to 2044 then. We've lost everyone except Marcel Dubois, who is also retiring, so there we go. That is the end of the experiment. He is retiring from at Wolfsburg. He didn't win the Bundesliga. Bayern Munich reclaimed it in that final season. Did he play much? He did actually. 27 games, 25 of them from the bench. But fair play, he did play a hell of a lot coming off the bench to shore things up. And the Euros then, over the course of the experiment, we've had 2 runners-up for England. We've had 2 wins for Italy, 1 for Spain, 1 for France. So we've had Dubois, who probably won it for France. Milestones, competitions, first international goal at age 29, 3rd place in the World Cup in 2030. Did he not go? He mustn't have gone to the tournament. They won in 2032 and there's nothing there. They didn't take him. They didn't bloody take him. That is unfortunate for him. And England have come runner-up twice in the World Cup, 3 runners-up for Italy. France, Spain and England all winning a World Cup. I must go through and have a look at the players to see if they actually were there at the time. But just got to take a moment to say Japan have just won the World Cup. And their national team, they've got one player who's fantastic, him. But everyone else is just very good to average. Disappointing, really. So, yeah, there you go. There's your Fickle forwards. Nearly swore then. I hope you've enjoyed it. We're going to do this with some other personality types. So, if you've got a personality type you'd like me to try this with, let me know in the comments down below. Anything else you'd like me to look at through these experiments? Any other ideas for experiments that you've got? Again, comments down below. Do like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Really making that push to go over the next milestone, which is 4,000, even though 5,000 is more of a landmark goal, but it's very far away. So yeah, come and subscribe and be one of those people to help me on my way. And that's it. End of story. End of video. Take good care of yourselves, gang. I'll see you soon.